going on, everybody? Playing Don Shawn. Appreciate you coming, checking out what we got going on. It's season 2. It has finally arrived. Weather is still cold outside, but if you're in Connecticut, I don't know what part of the state that you're at, go to your almanac, you could check the frost date, and you'll be able to see when you could get closer to starting your plants or anything like that. We ain't starting no bud as of right now. We are in the state of Connecticut where it is completely legal for you to grow up to 6 plants. There's more details about all of that, but look up your local state laws and regulations about what you can and can't do as far as growing any bud. One thing I do know for a fact is if you are growing it outdoors, it cannot, I repeat, cannot be visible from the street. So front yards, off limits. I wouldn't know anybody want to grow any front yards anyways, I wouldn't. But so yeah, keep it a minimum 6 plants. Make sure you can't see it from the street and you should be okay. So what we doing today though, I know I said we're not starting any bud, is this channel's about not just growing bud, but it's about growing your own medicine. So we are, growing cannabis as our medicine, but there's other things that we can grow as well. I always talk about the plants aren't just here to heal our bodies, but they're also here to heal our minds and help mend any emotions or emotional trauma or anything like that that you got going on in your life. For me personally, the act of planting, taking care of plants and all of that is therapeutic for me. It helps me get into a meditative state, and while certain things become repetitive, my mind drifts off, starts thinking about not only any other issues and problems that I have, but more importantly, about solutions for those issues and problems. So hopefully this channel helps you get into what we're doing over here, and it'll help you out in the same way that it's helped me out. If it doesn't, my bad. If it does, that's awesome. Do the internet thing, show me some love. Appreciate you for watching this video to start off with number 1. So, one of the things that we're going to be growing this year alongside with our cannabis as a companion plant is lavender. So it's extremely fragrant, has a bunch of different benefits and everything like that. You guys can look them up. I'm not sure in particular or in detail. Definitely very calming, relaxing, helps soothe and ease the nerves, whether it's processed and you're drinking over tea, putting a little sachet under your pillow, in your drawers, potpourri, whatever it may be. There are certain terpenes in cannabis that are also found in lavender. It's linalool, and lino. We'll just call them lino for right now. Lino, Richie, y'all know the deal. Look it up. Anybody that knows, drop it in the comments and help everybody else out that's watching this video on the name. I may have said it right. My pronunciation is horrible, but it is what it is. We ain't here for that. We in a trap, and we getting it started. So, reason we start lavender now, even though it's February, we still are a little bit late. You want to start them anywhere from a month to 2 months before they're actually weather's good for put them outside. But we growing that's going to be towards the end of April, beginning of May. That's when our frost date is. But yeah, so we're just gonna get this started. What we got in the bin over here is our good old seed starting mix. Benefits of getting a seed starting mix is that it has less large pieces of organic matter and things like that in there, less things for the seeds to have to try to push through and fight, and also a lot less nutrients in it. I know that sounds counterproductive, but you don't want to have a whole bunch of nutrients and fertilizers in your seed starting mix just because the seed doesn't need it itself. The seed actually has everything inside of it that's needed to actually crack itself open and to start growing. Once it started its growing process, it is going to need more food and more nutrition, but just like with us, while we're still cooking in the womb, it has everything that it needs to survive. So seed starting mix here, it is some soil, a little bit of perlite, and from the looks of it, some peat moss and things like that. But there are no large chunks or anything like that that's going to hinder the seeds from popping or interfere with the roots or anything like that, so it's going to be good. Now, before we get to planting, just to show you the setup a little bit, we have this these smaller cells here that we'll be starting. I got a bottom tray here because we won't be watering overhead. We'll be doing our watering from bottom watering. I believe that's a proper term for it. Reason being, we don't want to, if anybody has had small cells or small plants, and you do try to water them overhead, a lot of times you end up too much force with the water, splashes the soil everywhere, and potentially could knock your seeds out. So a lot of times when you are overhead watering and you don't see your seeds germinate or anything, it might not be a bad seed, it was just a bad grower and you knock the seeds out. So I'm going to show you what these lavender seeds are. Every seed is different, but in particular these lavender seeds are super small and tiny. As you can tell there on the table, they're like grains and specks of dust. You can't even call it a grain of rice. It's even smaller than that. So it'll be almost impossible to see if you end up knocking that seed out by the incorrect watering technique. So we're gonna get this loaded up and then I'm gonna keep talking to y'all afterwards while that's going on. So we're gonna fill it up. We're gonna pack the soil in, not extremely tight, but just enough to where once the plants actually do start growing and they set their roots down, it'll actually form a root ball. So when we do pop these out to transplant them, whether it be to a bigger pot or directly into our growing area, it's not all falling apart and it comes out nice and easy. So I just throw some soil in there. Rub that in, and that way it'll be, like I said, it'll be in there, filled, but not too compact. Boom, done, just like that. Oh, with your soil, if you are getting bagged soil, especially this time of the year, 9 times out of 10 it'll be frozen, let it defrost, and you'll be fine. But your soil moisture is, again, you don't want it sogging wet, but you don't want it dry. So the way you test it is you'll just get a handful of it, give it a squeeze. As you see, there's no water dripping out. I can hear a little bit of water in there. It's like a wrung out sponge. It holds together, but it breaks apart a little easy. This soil is a little bit wet, but it's not a problem. You'll still be able to plant. I'll just give it a day or so before I actually do add any more water to it. We don't want our plants to become waterlogged and actually rot everything out before they actually grow. Before we continue on, labeling. I know this is just gonna be lavender, but as you see there's space, so there will be another tray that's gonna go in here at some point in time. We wanna keep track of what is what. So, with that, some Scotch tape, Sharpie, to keep it easy so you're not writing at all weird in different angles. Quick little tip, find where the start of your tape is at, and then you're just gonna write on it before you pull the tape out. So we're gonna put today's date, just so that way we can track it. It's gonna take this lavender anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to actually pop. So this will help us keep track of what those weeks are. What the plant is. It's going to be lavender, so we'll write that on there. Lavender. How do you spell lavender? Somebody tell me. Take hold on. Done, just like that. Now we got our label. This tray is going to stay on this side, so I'll put it right on the tray. So that way, I didn't put it on the actual tray itself, just because in the midst or in the act of adding in the water and bottom watering, in case it gets wet for any reason, I don't need the tape getting all soggy, falling off, and the work I did was for nothing. Another way you can do it, go to a popsicle stick, same thing, you're just going to put the date and whatever the variety of plant that you're doing. And there are other plants that you can do, and as I do them, we're gonna go along with them on the channel, so that way everybody has a successful grow this year. For anybody that's coming from season 1, I hope you had a successful grow. If y'all see the email, or if you go in the comments, I mean, send me some pictures, send me some messages, yo. Let's see what you did out there. My bad, the video stopped a little earlier last season, but I got busy. I kept growing, but I just stopped filming. But we got some updated equipment this year. As you see, we're not in a normal trap. We in a bigger trap house this year because we're elevating and we're evolving. It's a lot of craziness happening out there. There's a whole lot of shit happening out there in the world, guys. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but it's a lot of funding, government funding that's getting cut. A lot of organizations and corporations having to close their doors, get rid of more than half of their staff and everything like that. And the overall message I got from that is we've gotten too dependent on drinking and eating off the government's titty and not supporting ourselves enough. That's why we have to rely on government funding so much. So now's the time, outside of anything, to either be able to grow yourself or go support any of your local growers for whatever it is, whether it be cannabis, whether it be herbs, whether it be fruits, whether it be vegetables, whatever that it is, because it's real life supervillains running around out here, and they got all of the money and the power, and they're turning everybody's water off. If you understand that reference, you understand it. If not, you'll figure it out soon, because they're gonna be turning your shit off. I'm laughing, but this is not fun anymore. So yeah, we got everything started. For those of y'all that have been around from season 1, you know the next step is we're gonna make the hole, and we're actually gonna drop the seeds in. On my little tool here, pencils just not around at the moment. But yeah, you're gonna go twice as deep as the seed is wide. I'm not measuring what these lavender seeds are, so we're gonna go about that deep, and then we're just gonna plant the seeds. So I'm gonna show my mouth, do this. Maybe we might fast forward, maybe we won't. But yeah, that's that. Actually, no, we're not gonna fast forward. I'm gonna just keep talking, but we gonna wrap this up. Like I said, everything's pretty repetitive. So that's the times where I'm able to stop actively thinking and start passively thinking, let my mind wander, figure out what's going on. And yeah, I've since been able to devise that, you know, we have politicians out here running around like Dragon Ball villains. You got Grand Zenos out there just whoosh and squish, disappearing everybody's everything. So, if y'all know who Grand Zeno are, you know that in a tournament of power, there was 2 of them. There's 2 Grand Zenos running around out here, making universes disappear right in front of our faces. So we need to stop fighting each other and fight for each other. So, I'm gonna drop these seeds in. We're gonna put some water in the bottom. That's what this watering can here is for. I'm not gonna go too high. Just enough for the plants to absorb it from the bottom, keep the moisture going. I don't have one here, but if you got a heating mat always helps. Don't set it any higher than 72 degrees. Humidity dome also works as well. We do have them. Y'all seen them on previous episodes. They're currently not here with me. They will be here soon. And that's all I got for today. Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for coming through the Horticulture Trap House. I am playing Don Shawn. If you didn't know, now you do. Take care of yourself and take care of your plants, and your plants will take care of you. I'm out. Bye.